Hello, everyone, and welcome. We will start in a few minutes. Just so you know, this is being recorded and it will be available in our social media when we end. So, thank you for your patience. We will start soon. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Hello, Carlos, Rabbit, Ziki. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, my friend. So, I think we have an audience right now, and I hand it up to you to direct the orchestra.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Freak. Rabbit, are you there? Can you hear us well?
I am. I'm sorry. I was having trouble with my microphone. It kept on kicking me off, and I couldn't start the space and all kinds of stuff. So, but I'm here now. If everyone can hear me, I'm just gonna have to go through my headset. If that's all right with everybody.
All right. Yeah, no, it sounds fine.
You sound
All
you sound
right.
Well,
perfect.
Well, then.
welcome. Great. So, Carlos, this is a space that you requested. So, why don't you tell everybody why you're coming on stage today and what you want to talk about, and then over time, we've collected a bunch of questions that came in the questions channel, as well as some just some updates on everything that's going on, is my understanding. But maybe you can tell everybody kind of like what we are here today to discuss.
Yeah. So, the main thing is going to be around TGE. Obviously, it's no secret that we were off to a rough start. Of course, some of this is purely optics in the sense that we're in a very we're in a position in which it looks worse than what it is, right? And just to give an example to everybody here listening, if you go to MEXC, right, and you go and see all the sell orders between our current price and our listing price, it amounts to about like 5K, right? That's it, guys. That's it. That's the sell pressure between right now and listing price, right? Our main issue, I would say, is obviously as most people, just go and look at the chart to do a very high level and I would say single metric and simple evaluation. They get freaked out, right? Having said that, there are other issues there like liquidity and a few other um, metrics that we're not good at right now, right? Part of that was some um, bad decisions in terms of the way that the launch was structured. Part of that is the market, right, as well. So there's many components up to that, but the main reason that I wanted to have this space is for the community to know that we're here, right? We're here, we're working, we're building. Um, Everybody freak, the rabbit, myself, the devs, we're here, we're working, we're not going anywhere, guys. And now that the token's out there, it's time to prepare all the utilities and the components that will be integrated into it. That's what we're going to be focusing on going forward, right? Um, we are a product driven company, so everything that we do is about the utility and the value that we can provide to users. And now it's going to be tied into the DEGA token. Having said that, there's several questions that we've compiled from across many members in the community. So Rabbit, if you want, let's jump right into it, and then after we address those, which seem I believe most people here will have those questions, then we can jump into any other.
Yeah, sure. Carlos, actually, before you get started, I just wanted to say to everybody, I apologize for I'm usually super engaged with the community. And I just needed to just take a second and apologize because I have been working with Carlos to talk about new narratives, to talk about, now that we're post TGE, what are we going to be talking about on our socials? What are we going to be talking about with you? And all those types of things, but as well as trying to help the devs get organized with all the tickets that came in and so on and so forth. So I miss you all. I will be back soon. And maybe we can have a jam session coming up real soon. But right now, I've been very, very busy. So I apologize to everybody, but I'll be back very soon to chat and fool around with you guys. But yeah, so on to the questions. So one of the questions that came in, Carlos, was, what are funds raised being used for?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question, of course, right? No, I mean, we've always used everything for building, right? That's what we're doing right now. Um, and funny enough, that's kind of like one thing that I was thinking about as we did our TGE compared to like meme coins. That's why they're very popular right now because those guys don't have to build anything. So essentially, they just use all of the money for bootstrapping the initial liquidity, right? But in any case, yeah, that's a simple one, right? Like we're building, we're continuing to work and develop. We'll probably shift a few priorities around now that we have TGE, and something that we'll prioritize will be everything that gives utility to the DEGA token, right? That'll be the number one, let's say, metric or goal or objective that will set a development or a release as a priority, and that's
And
that's where we're going to be focusing.
just as an operator, some people don't understand what building means. You have to pay for servers, you have to pay for websites, you have to pay for, all the things that we have internally, all the tools, even Discord. You have to pay for Discord to keep the Discord up. There's like a whole list of things that go into building an organization. And honestly, that's all we're spending our money on right now, that and the team, just
Yeah.
keeping everything up.
Yep,
So,
that's in the team.
are you ready for the next question, Carlos?
Yeah, shoot it.
What do we have in store for better liquidity pools? Now, before you go on and answer that question, Carlos, do we, are there tools, are there services, are there things that you have in mind that you and I have been talking about that you want to share that could increase that liquidity pool?
Yeah, there's mainly two mechanics that we will be deploying, right? Well, one of them is the gamified DEX, right? That one has been announced a while ago. And besides that one, we also want to collaborate with our friends from APON to do some some protocol-owned liquidity bootstrapping through their platform. Right now, the timing of these executions has to be very well considered in the sense that if we just deploy them like that and nothing happens, that might also create issue, right? So we're gonna have to time that very well along with other releases, announcements, and ideally user acquisition campaigns, so that we bring people in, new people, and then we give them a tool that allows them to participate and support the project with the liquidity side of things.
Excellent. Are you ready for the next one?
Yep, shoot.
Okay. All right. So, will you use funds to buy back tokens?
Of the current funds that we have, no. Just because we need them for the operations, right? Otherwise, like if we didn't need to raise funds to operate, then we wouldn't have raised funds in that regard, right? Having said that, as we build out new mechanics that generate new types of revenue, then those funds will be used for doing buybacks for sure.
Okay. Next, what are the next steps for marketing and getting more volume on the token? So, token demand and the story that I kind of like hinted to.
Yeah, so I would say that, on that side of things, we got to focus a little bit more the conversation around the products that we're building and prioritize, as I was saying, token utility, right? And we do have a lot of things in the backlog right now in terms of the partnership relationships that we kind of like put in the pause for the TGE. And now we got to come back to them, right? Relationships with major foundations, even meme coins and other games. So we need to like retake those conversations and bring them, kind of like tie in the marketing and the product story around those partnerships so that we can acquire more members in our community and then locking that along with either revenue generation for token buyback or liquidity bootstrapping mechanics, right?
Okay, now the next question, this is kind of like described in multiple articles and multiple posts, and I'm going to ask it anyways because there's probably a bunch of new people on the call who have never actually heard you talk about it before.
Mhm.
I actually do see a lot of new faces down there. Can you give a clear picture of what the token utility currently is and where it's going?
Yeah, as we release right now, the only utility is the staking side of things, right? That was the one feature that we didn't want to like overwhelm and focus on multiple features, right? Now going forward, everything from factories will be DEGA denominated. Everything from like the agents that we're building, the AI agent framework on DEGA, right? Basically, DEGA powered, DEGA fueled, and in this case, I'm meaning the DEGA token, right, into it. And additionally to that, there's the infrastructure side of things, right? So the first meta chains and some other components that require DEGA to run, right? So that's gonna be kind of like the order of operations: factories, agents, and then infrastructure for DEGA token utility.
Well, Carlos, Phoenix just asked, your audio actually cut out for a little bit there. I did get that too.
Hmm.
I don't know if we need to repeat that.
I don't know. You told me, like, was it something that wasn't
I
clear?
got no, I got the gist of it. You were just leading into it. I think that's what kind of like got cut off.
Okay.
But if you want questions on where token utility is right now, if you have questions about where token utility is right now, it is staking both in Cardano and in ETH, and there are posts about that. And there's also a post for the DEGA token utility. It's also in the white paper. So grab the white paper, read it, or just go to Google and search for DEGA token utility, and the article will come right up for you. So that's what I
Yep.
would say for that one. Um, Steps for onboarding users. I don't know if that's really a question. I think the question around that might be is what steps are we taking to onboard new users?
Yeah. Yeah. That was, something that I briefly
You touched on that. Yeah.
hinted at it. Yeah. But yeah, in essence, we have a lot of partnerships on the table. Some of them for gaming, some of them for AI, some of them for infrastructure integration. So we got to reassess everything now post TGE, prioritize them, and then start the execution, right? And those are kind of going to be, those partnerships have to be strategically selected based on either their capability to, bringing new members to our community, one, two, generate new revenue, which will flow to the Tega token, of course, or three, right, take part in the liquidity provisioning mechanics that we'll be deploying. There's also, well, I think it wasn't in the questions that we have, but something that's very important to touch base. We're also going to analyze restructuring the token itself, to make it more community owned, right? So we'll probably do some massive amount of burning, right, to set anyone at ease in the sense of, the inflationary growth of the token, and the fact that who how large amounts are in the hands of the team, and so on. So we will most likely be reducing our allocation, right? So that it's more in the hands of the community in that sense. That's something that we haven't set down with Rabbit to like, do a proper design on it, but just know that it's coming, right? And that will also make the project more attractive to new buyers and holders.
Okay, so this next one, Carlos, I'm actually going to talk about this one a little bit. Um, the website isn't very clear, and yes, we're very aware of that. Carlos and I talk about it quite a bit. The When it comes to website stuff, it's like it's always a work in progress, and we're always assessing the flow and all that kind of stuff. But as we mentioned, TGE and all the announcements that came out recently kind of like took our attention away from that. As we roll out the new narrative, it will most likely affect the website. And when we go in there and change those, get our story straight on the website around where we're at currently, it'll probably change the structure too. Every single time we go in there and do a major update, we make a fix to the structure. If anyone was here at the very beginning and they remember the website from the first, alpha website, things have changed and things will continue to change. So yes, we're aware of that. We're working on it. Okay, so next question, Carlos. How many months of runway does the project have at this point? You're on mute, buddy.
Hey there, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, where we stand right now, we have 8 months of runway, and we're in conversations right now. I'm actually having a few calls later today to extend that to over a year, right? With several interested parties, and yeah, I mean, we have enough time to deliver a large amount of the vision as it stands already, right? And we're looking to secure even more support to be able to um, go far beyond the original vision itself.
Okay, the next one is, when do we expect to start generating revenue from our product?
Yeah. So, in a certain way, DEGA's already been revenue generating, right? I mean, when we sold the elements, that's kind of like our Game Pass, right? That's your membership into the DEGA ecosystem. That's technically revenue as it's part of a product, right? Now, of course, I know what the question means, right? Like the question means like generating revenue from fees from or building from other people, not
Mhm.
necessarily DEGA token holders, right? And yeah, well, on that regard, that again, we've already kind of like touched base on it in the previous questions, where we're going to be keeping our focus on being able to work with communities, teams that can implement or use our products within their ecosystems, and then we will start generating fees from that, right? Most likely, the agent framework will be one of the most attractive products for them. There's also the gaming side of things. And as time goes by, we're gonna see which one of the offerings is more interesting to all of them. After we properly assess which are the best strategic partners to work with.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the agent framework. We'll talk more about that some other time, but that's actually really important for our forward momentum here at DEGA.
Yeah, that's part of the
Um,
the Dgens components, right?
yes, yes. Uh, let's see, what's next? What will be the first real use case for DEGA it looks like for DEGA. So that's actually a utility question. There's just another
Yeah.
utility question in here. So I'm going to skip that one because we already talked about that one.
Yep.
If you want to bring it up again, what the first thing is from a utility perspective, fine.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll just say right now it's staking, and we're working on expanding that.
Yeah.
What happened to the quote unquote high value people that got hired into the project?
I wouldn't know exactly what are they talking about there, like in terms of a name, um, right? Because for example, James Cusera is still with us. Philip Shoemaker is still with us. Um, if they're referring to Amro, he decided to prioritize other things, the other projects that he wanted to work on. So we had the opportunity to work with him for about 2 months. He helped us connect with very important providers on the marketing side of things and other aspects. And then, he decided to focus on something else. So I don't know if they meant him or if there's somebody else there, but that's what I can say regarding that one.
Well, when you're talking to three high value people in the project right now, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
to drag me out of here. But anyway, let's see what's next. The last one on my list, will the DEGA token be bridged to base or something similar that is cheaper in terms of fees?
Could you repeat that one, please?
Will the DEGA token be bridged to base or something similar? I'm guessing it's a similar blockchain that is cheaper in terms of fees.
Yeah, I think that we're already integrated with Polygon, BNB, and several other networks, so we're gonna integrate it there. Most likely, we'll go to the ones that we're already integrated with, right? Like Polygon or BNB. I'm leaning towards BNB a little bit more, but we'll make the final decision later on. But yeah, it'll be on a cheaper EVM as well. And currently Cardano is supported, and you can see that. Um, you can use it there at very low fees, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to the audience now. I'm looking through the chats here and I'm seeing Phoenix. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a break, first of all, from questions. And I just want to say and put it out there that, you community mods and you people who have been helping us in Discord and in Telegram, you guys are freaking amazing. You guys have done an incredible job. I haven't been able to come in and thank you individually, but Zeke, John, uh, Phoenix, like in the crew, you guys have been incredible. So thank you very much for all of your support. But Phoenix, your question on here, I think we just talked about the cheaper chain support for MetaMask and Meld. It just takes time and prioritization.
Yeah,
Also, in regards to people.
we gotta
Oh, go
wrap
ahead.
up the claims, right? The claim tickets, and once those are
Yeah,
wrapped up, then we can focus
yeah.
on
That
something else.
that that for you all is the top priority. Is getting that claim process fixed. We got to get before we do anything else. We got to get the data into your hands. So that's kind of like what we're focusing on first. But anyway, uh, in regards to people claiming Galaxy Element rewards, I don't know if that's a question. Claiming those on ETH for people with just a couple of Galaxy elements wouldn't be worth the ETH gas fees. Okay. It seems more like a statement than a question. We agree. Okay, so moving on. Um, why are there discrepancies in the 10% allocation and when will this be sorted? I don't really understand what that 10% allocation where.
No, it must be the release, right? The claim, right? The issues
Oh
that
yeah,
we're solving
claims.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's part of the claim cleanup. Uh, yeah, approximately when the current bugs will be fixed. Well, bug fixes are actually being rolled out constantly at this point. So when are the bugs going to be fixed for everything? It's happening. It's happening as our devs can figure it out and fix and then deploy. Upon reviewing the white paper, well, this is a paragraph.
Yeah, it's in terms of the liquidity being provisioned,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no, I mean that is something that was placed as an option, right? It's not that it's going to be used, right? It's unlocked to be able to be used. Um, this interpretation, I guess that's how some people could have read it, right? But so far, we did have a lower liquidity depth, right? And that is one of the main issues where we launched. To be honest here, I gotta acknowledge my mistake on several aspects, and also some ill advice that we received, right? And I would say that right now, probably the main issue that we've had were two specific configurations, which is the amount of liquidity we had and the strike price that we set, right? Like I was saying at the start of the conversation, if you go to Mexi right now and you see all the sell orders between our current price and the TGE listing price, it's like $5,000. Okay, that's it. That's the sell pressure between where we are right now and TGE release. Obviously, if you buy up that pressure, it pushes up the price. Some other people will start setting up other sell orders and so on. So, not to say, my point here is that with a very minimum amount of inbound flows, right, over the course of the next months, we can recover very, very well from the current situation, right? Now, the main issue I would actually say is optics, right? In terms that people don't do any detailed analysis like the one that I'm mentioning. People usually just go over there and see the chart, and then based on that, they decide how to go about it. So that's where the utility part is important, and the revenue generation part is also important for buybacks, right? But yeah, basically that's those were the main mistakes there, and that's kind of the situation is absolutely addressable, right? I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and often for people, for humans overall, the perception of things is much more relevant than the underlying mechanics or truth, right? So even though we're not in a crisis by any mean, if you take sell pressure, versus pricing, it is perceived that way, right? And I understand that, and that's kind of like one of the things that I like to point out that and admit that it was my fault for setting up certain parameters and not following certain advice as well, and following wrong advice. But in any case, yeah, we're that's one of the key things that we have to tackle strategically, right? Revenue generation for buybacks and new liquidity incentive mechanics.
And I'm just going to take a second here for everybody. Sometimes you run into leadership and CEOs who find somebody else to blame. Carlos has been taking this all on himself. So, you know, just know that I wouldn't, we would have had a problem if Carlos was blaming everybody else for this. And he's really taking responsibility for the entire project. And I just want to say that, Carlos, I really appreciate your attitude and your willingness to listen and all those types of things. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Okay, so moving on to the next question. While we wait for better, cheaper chain for MELD, is there any DEGA tokens claiming ETA so our rewards do not expire? Well, first of all, your rewards are never going to expire.
Yeah, they do not
they're
expire.
yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't
so they're
expire.
yours. But yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to is like people don't want the rewards to what Rebel Coder's saying here is he just doesn't want the rewards to expire. They're not going to. And his question number two, what was the reason behind not supporting meld chain for claiming? It is an EVM chain like BNB, Poly, etc.
Just time, right? Like, there's limited amount of resources and we're on like 10 blockchains, right? So it makes it a little bit hard to be able to just constantly integrate new components everywhere, right? So we had to pick two. We picked Cardano, obviously, because that's where most of our community likes to operate. And then secondly, Ethereum, because that's the easiest one for listing in centralized exchanges.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I want to say there is if anyone's ever watched Star Trek and heard needs of the few, needs of the many, we're kind of like focusing on needs of the many right now, and then we will get to these individual knockouts when they get into priority order. Okay, that's not a question. Question on claim. If someone hasn't claimed any tokens yet, will they be able to claim 10% from TGE plus days since TGE unlocks? or does the 8th month vesting start when they claim their first TGE? No, I can answer that one. It's going to keep rolling, so I wouldn't worry about that.
No, yeah, but it's important to be clear. So, yeah, so basically what they're asking is if vesting starts after they claim, and no, it started from TGE day, right?
Oh, thank you, Carlos.
So yeah, so you, as time goes by, you'll get whatever was the release on TGE plus your new releases, right?
Okay. Okay, so I think, well, no, LLF has a question here. Will the claim process for on-chain users be available again? Uh,
Available
Carlos?
again. I mean,
Yeah,
what
I
do you,
don't remember. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
no,
that
we never, yeah, I mean, we're working with OneChain for bridging from Ethereum to Cardano, but we haven't done a claim system there that I recall.
Oh, so what he's doing is I think what if LLF is doing is he's switching to the on-chain on the Realms website, he's switching to on-chain and the claim button disappears. That's because claiming isn't available on on-chain.
So, yeah.
Okay, I get it. Missed that one about vesting claim in ISPO. We do not need to claim ISPO rewards. I don't understand the question. Okay. If the initial amount wasn't right, initial amount of what, PFP?
Right.
Yeah, I think that is it for questions right now that I think we're caught up. Oh, several people are still typing. Initial amount of DEGA. Yeah, Phoenix is coming in and answering some of these questions, so I'm getting lost. Yeah, if the initial amount wasn't right, the initial amount of
I guess the initial amount to claim.
the initial amount of the 10% drop was wrong. Oh, okay, so now I got to go back to the original question. If the initial 10% wasn't right, doesn't that mean that the daily release that has been coming through will also be wrong? How do we know that how will we know that when everything is sorted, it is the right amount?
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna go.
y'all can make your calculations. That's number one. But number two, we are working on a list that will showcase the rewards that you have. So you'll be able to see them in detail, right? But first things first is fixing all these claim issues. And then after that, you'll be able to have visibility in terms of that,
And
claiming.
Ebenezer, is it only ETH bugs that remain, or are there others? Carlos?
I haven't checked in detail. I believe there's only ETH bugs. The Cardano
Yep,
issue was supposed to be patched, I think yesterday. So
yep.
everybody on the Cardano side of things, go check it out. But yeah, there was another one in ETH, so hopefully we get that done either today or tomorrow.
PFP says Cardano isn't patched. Not enough detail to know what the actual error is.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well, there's
yeah,
a
make sure.
well PFP the let's draw a distinction between technical problems and amount problems. So technical problems are being sorted on Cardano, and then we believe at this point that we are completely patched up on that. Claim stuff, we're doing the calculations right now, and we're going to make everybody whole as soon as we understand the calculations. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same thing with ETH. That's like there's technical issues, but there's also amount issues. So if you look at kind of like the technical side of ETH, we're working on that one right now.
Yeah. And also try to like make sure to have ready like how it should be, because like for example, if you open up a ticket and you tell the devs my amount is wrong, they really like can't do much with that. Ideally, you'd want them to be able to grab something to compare with, right? So you say, hey, these are my NFTs, these are the bonuses, this should be my amount, right? As an example, Phoenix did a damn good job of keeping track of everything on his side. So yeah, that's something that would be helpful for the devs.
Yeah. And then the just the last question is it seems like, there's after we clear the technical and the amount issues, people ask about, being able to claim DEGA from Galaxy elements and being able to, in the ambassador program, like all of our ambassadors have been doing a great job for us. When are we going to be able to make that distribution as well?
Distribution for ambassadors is being handled today. And then the Galaxy ones do, again, cut us a little bit of slack there just because we got to finish out all of this bugs issue. And I would like to release that claims detail table so that people can see that. And then we'll go to the Galaxy ones, right?
Sounds about right. Have you talked to Meld about potential DEGA pool for L
Loan,
and B?
loan and borrowing. That's what that means, loan and borrowing.
Oh, okay, on Meld
Yeah,
protocol in the
I mean, we're
future.
very close with everybody in the Meld side of things, and yeah, Ken asked me to bring Meld to bring to the Meld ecosystem the DEGA token. But as you guys know, for being in a lending protocol, you have to have certain volume on dexes and so on. I haven't discussed all of those metrics with Ken yet. But when the time is right, we will be there for sure. Like on their side, they're happy to greet us there, and on our side, we just gotta make sure that the DEGA economy is making sense.
Well, Rebel Coder, you look like you're, from the color of your username, you look like you're kind of new to the server, but you're asking some damn good questions, man.
Yeah.
Should stop by more often. Challenge me. Okay. The ISPO rewards are all released when claimed.
No, right? Remember that they have a 10% release and then 8-month linear vesting. So
Yeah, check the blog post. Like I said, go to Google, type in DEGA Cardano ISPO, and that article will come up, and you can see what the actual vesting schedule for the ISPOs are. Google is your friend. I know some people like to chat, but Google will give you the answer pretty quickly.
mhm.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is as these, every time you go to Realms for the time being, just until we get all these bugs cleared, we're doing a lot of what are known as hot fixes. It's like these bugs get fixed and they go out without an announcement. So whenever you go to Realms, make sure, like Phoenix said in the chat here, make sure you're forcing an uncache, which means Control R for Windows or Command Shift R for Mac. before you start your claiming process. It just clears out all the garbage that had the bugs in it in the back end of your browser. I do it for pretty much every site because these sites are putting all kinds of data on your laptop or on your desktop.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, looks like it's dying down a little bit here.
Yep.
So what do we want to what do we you want to close? We want to start wrapping up here, Carlos?
Yeah, yeah, again, this space, I wanted to do it just to make sure that, the community know that we're here, we're working. It was a rough start, as I said at the beginning. We're not going anywhere. We're continuing to build. We have what we need to deliver a large amount of the vision already, as it is. And we're in conversations with several other parties that want to come in and support us to make sure that we finalize everything. And, DEGA's always been a product-driven company and ecosystem, right? There were some mistakes made right now in the release, specifically around parameters, which again, mostly what they're affecting is optics, right? The product I mean, the ecosystem in total to be in a healthy state requires a very, a fraction of what other projects need in terms of liquidity and volume. So, it's just a matter of creating the right the right products for the right partners, bringing in the audience, generating the revenue, and then pushing that towards the token ecosystem. And we can see some more healthier recovery. So that's where we are right now. On my side, I'm working as hard as possible every day. Well, also dealing a little bit with a little bit of drama and stress, as you can all imagine.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, but
Lots of
we never
drama.
we were never that type of team that's gonna go, and hide under a rock or something. We're here. If we can't answer just like literally instantly because we're working, but we're here. Okay, we're here. We're working. We're building. We're deploying. We're making cool shit. For most of the partners that we're working with, they don't give a shit about the token in the sense that if we give them something cool to play with, they'll do it. They'll use it, right? And that's kind of like the thing that we all need to keep in perspective, right? Again, it's easy to let yourself be ruled by certain metrics. But for those of you who have been with us for a long time and are continuing to be with us for a long time, um, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And then, well, some people did want to just exit, immediately. Well, I can't tell you anything on that side, right? That's it's not that it's something that's wrong, but that's not why we built DEGA, right? We didn't build DEGA so you can just come in and dump on somebody else, right? This is a technology and a product that we believe is vision driven, and that's the focus of what we're doing, right?
Yeah, the urge to dump on you all is very strong with some people, and it's like we don't want that to happen. I mean, that's not what we're here for. You've heard me probably say quite a few times, we're not a meme coin. It's like, and keep in mind that this is a long-term project. So all of the vesting, all of the scheduling, like everything that we're doing is for long-term product success, not for we're all going to dump on each other and Ponzi our way to wealth. That's not what we're doing here. Um, it's just going to take time, but we'll get it all cleared out. And also to like I kind of hinted at the beginning of the call, I miss you guys. I've been very busy, but I will be back once we get all these bugs and all this new communication stuff all laid out. And then one last thing that I just wanted to make sure that we get out there. Both Carlos and I stopped in our own way and in our own time said, don't worry about the staking snapshot. We're going to push that until everybody is is whole. So until everybody has their DEGA and all these bugs have calmed down, um, and we allow you all to, we got to give you guys at least the chance to stake what you got. So don't worry about us like doing a snapshot right now. We'll get back to you with a better date.
I also want to take the time to thank the members of our community who have been great at helping each other. You know, like you have names there out there like Phoenix, like Bino, you got John, you got all of them helping each other, solving challenges and doing that. And we really appreciate that, guys. It's been really helpful also communicating the vision and the why we are here to others that didn't understand much or were newer to the DEGA world. So I wanna personally thank you because you made it even in a better way than at least I would have, done it. So thank you very much, and I'm really proud to have you here, and I hope we can keep building this together. So thank you, guys.
There's a term that gets thrown around in my household sometimes. It's called getting verklempt. It's like, getting emotional and getting a little teary eyed and I just read your post here, Derek, and dude, you hit me. You hit me right in the heart, man.
Oh,
Yep.
Thank you.
that's one of the best speeches
Yeah.
in the world by Roosevelt. That's an amazing speech. I read it at least I think 5 times a year to remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. I'm like kind of a little speechless by that. That's amazing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
it's
Well,
rough. It's rough, trying to innovate and create and build, and especially in the current conditions in the market where we are. A lot of people are just calling it quicks, going to sleep, right? Um, but we're not, right? We're here to fight. We're here to battle. We're here to move forward. We're here to build, to deliver on the vision, and that's where you'll find us, right? So for those of you who joined us at DEGA for the vision, rest assured that you'll be having a lot of toys that you'll be able to play with your DEGA, right? And based on that, we'll continue to grow and move forward. And like I was saying, most of the communities out there that we're talking to, they're way bigger than what we are, and they're super excited to work with us and to follow up on our vision as well. So this is just the beginning, guys. Right? I know it was I'm gonna be clear. It was a fucking rough beginning. Okay, fucking rough. And if you think it's rough for you guys, it's even rougher for me, right? Because I'm the one that's steering the boat. It's my responsibility. I don't shy away from that, but here we are. We're not going anywhere.
yeah, I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes. The term that I've been using is we launched directly into Satan's bunghole. I mean, it's it's like, but
Yeah.
we're going to recover. We're going to recover. I mean, it's a 5K. If anybody out there in the audience, just remember what Carlos said. If anyone out there in the audience is going to say, "Oh, I was going to drop 5K on this," don't do it. Do it little by little. You know, it's like little
Yeah,
by
yeah.
little, or we won't.
Actually, it's worth pointing out something, right? Because there have been already some community support that we've received that we don't know who it is, but like somebody's paying these Twitter promoters to promote DEGA, and it's not us, right? Like in case anybody here is like seeing DEGA, it's like, yeah, those one of those raffles, right? When they say $50 if you like and follow DEGA or and so on. Like we're getting a lot of those, and it's not me. I'm not paying them, right? So we don't know which one of y'all in the community is out there just saying, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna throw $500 to promote DEGA." Whoever you are, it's greatly appreciated, right?
Yeah, totally.
Not sure if it's the right mechanic, right? Because those guys have a lot of bots. But in any case, we appreciate it and we love you for taking that initiative, whoever you are out there, right?
Yeah, from my side, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
Sorry for
Richie.
joining. Thank you. Sorry for joining late. I was busy with something, but I wanted to say thank you also, like to extend the gratitude that Carlos was mentioning. Also to moderators, you guys have been great. Seek, Phoenix, Star, also Soji and Remy,
John.
and John recently joining. Guys, really, your support, your trust, your patience with people, and your knowledge of this project, it tells me a lot about how strong this community is, and a lot of that is thanks to you guys. So really, thank you. And in general, also thanks to the wider community. Like I see a lot of like familiar faces here, like the Moose, LG Vino, Cuff. Thank you guys. And as Carlos says, we're here. We'll continue building. And from another perspective, with everything we have right now, with Realms the way it is, and with the DEGA Survivors game, I mean, DEGA is looking better than ever also. So I'm very positive about it.
Thanks, Richie. All right, everybody. Well, I think we went through all the questions we had compiled beforehand. We went through all the ones that are in the chat. And, well, everybody in the DEGA team is very, very packed with work, as you can imagine. So we're going to get back to that, everybody. Make DEGA great again. Nice one. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. Again, your support is greatly appreciated in the chat. And please, if it's not too much to ask, continue to support there. Phoenix works like a freaking machine. He's super impressive. Of course, I've seen everybody. A lot of people here are working, to be clear, right? But Phoenix is just like a non-human, right? So let's give him a hand, guys. Let's give him a hand. Let's give him a hand, and help him out, right? With supporting there and questions and comments and everything, so that he can also rest a little bit.
I'm sure and then one last thing for me for Freaky, you want to talk about what we've done with did we record this space? Yeah, Phoenix, I love you, man. Did we record this space? Where is it going to be available? Is if somebody in the community is going to, and maybe that's a question for you too, Richie, if somebody in the community is just going to, they usually do anyways, just write a few bullet points about what we talked about today. So we'll start with you, Freak. What do we got from a recording perspective?
Yeah, it's being recorded, and we will publish it in our Twitter video as a video in the first account. We also have a backup on YouTube that is being privately recorded there, so that will also go out. And of course, we're doing a summary of what we spoke about and publishing that. Probably the community will be faster with that, but yeah, you can watch the whole thing later on during the day. I guess this afternoon for me, it's 9 a.m. So I guess around 3 p.m. you can be watching it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Well then, let's do the outro then, Freak. A very not wild, but a very mellow outro, and we can say goodbye.
I could use some mellow right now.
I got the magic of Mayan Nights that we can play as an outro. So it's instrumental. So I think it works. Let's do it.
True.
So thank you everyone for being here. Remember, this is being recorded. You're gonna be able to rewatch it, and a summary will also come up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being Degans. See ya.